welcome back to my channel. And if you're new to my channel, hi, my name is Samirah, and in this video we're going to be doing a test on hair porosity. So if you're new to my channel, then this video right here is a part of the Winter is Coming series, where I go through a whole series of videos which teach you how to moisturize your hair based on your porosity, as well as gives you treatments like a steaming treatment with the super hydrating wash day routine and a protein treatment with the intense protein treatment regimen. So it's just a whole series that I suggest you check out. Is down below, and you'll get to see the results for high porosity hair and low porosity hair, so you'll know what to look for when you test your own hair. Now, both strands of hair in this test came from my head, and the reason why I have two different porosities is because of how I have my hair. My hair is highlighted, so some strands of my hair have not been bleached or lightened, and some strands have. So the strands that haven't are low porosity, and the strands that have are high porosity. So I was able to take two strands from my hair and test both of them, so you could see what your results will be if you test your hair and you have high porosity or low porosity hair. Now, be aware that you can have more than one porosity in your head. Now, a lot of times people have porous ends, but their roots and everything in the mid shaft is low porosity. So the bottom strands of their hair are higher porosity. They're more broken or damaged due to time, things like that. And that's another thing. A lot of people don't understand what high porosity or low porosity is. So low porosity means that your cuticle is tightly closed. It's not very porous. Think of pores in your skin. It's not very open and is not very accepting to water and things coming inside of it because it's so closed off. The cuticle is so tightly closed. Whereas high porosity hair is the complete opposite. The cuticle is very open, is very accepting to water, and is porous, as they would say. So it's high porosity. Just think of pores in your face. It's the same thing with your hair. So the pores in your hair, we're going to call them pores. The pores in your hair, the cuticle of your hair, is open when you're high porosity. It takes in water, it takes in whatever you use, but at the same time, because it's open, it lets all of that stuff back out just as easily. So you need something to seal that moisture or whatever you put in there in. Whereas with low porosity hair, you need something to allow those products and that moisture and that hydration, all of that stuff in, and for your hair to actually close with that stuff inside of your hair, the water, butters, whatever you use inside of your hair. Now, without further ado, we're going to get into this test, and I'll talk more about the difference in that, but you'll get to see what your results would be with high porosity hair or low porosity hair. I don't know if anybody's done a video on it. I've heard of people doing videos on it, but I don't know if it's as close up as my video, and I want you to really see how your hair will react if you have low porosity hair or high porosity hair. So let's get into that. Now, the first thing you will need is a glass of water and clean hair. This first test is for low porosity hair. So as you can see, I've placed a low porosity hair strand inside of the water, and I'm going to see if it starts to go down into the water. As you can see, it has not. So now I'm going to dip that low porosity hair strand inside of the water even more and try to see if the water drags that hair strand down. And as you can see, the hair strand still floats. It goes down because I pushed it down, but then it still comes back up to the top of the water and just sits at the top of the water and floats. So if your hair reacts this way when you do your porosity strand test, then this means that you have low porosity hair. And the way to remember that is an old saying, when they go low, you go high. So because this hair is floating at the top, that means that it has low porosity. That means that it's not allowing a lot of water into it to drag it down. The pores, the cuticle on this strand of hair are tightly packed, and you don't have a lot of openings from damage, etc., like you would with high porosity hair. So this hair right here is low porosity. If these are your results, again, you have low porosity hair. The hair is staying at the top of the water and floating. And here are the moisture regimens I made for low porosity hair. One for protein sensitive and one for just plain old low porosity hair. So now let's move on to high porosity hair. Now again, you're going to take a clean strand of hair with clean water. And as you can see, as soon as I put that hair into the water, it starts to get dragged down. I haven't even completely submerged it yet. So I'm actually going to dip in and submerge it even more into the water. And you're going to see that as the hair interacts with the water even more, it immediately starts to drag down more. See, now it's going completely down to the bottom. This right here is high porosity hair. There are a lot of openings in this strand of hair because this strand of hair has been bleached for my hair to be red. So again, both of these strands of hair are mine, and this strand has been bleached, which means that the protein in it has been broken down, the disulfide bonds, all that stuff have been broken down, which leaves the hair with openings. So now I'm going to lift this strand up out of the water and let you see how it reacts whenever I let go of it. It still goes down to the bottom of the glass because again, it's high porosity, it has a lot of openings, and it's uptaking all of the water that's in that glass as much as it can and letting it drag it down. So this right here, if these are your results, then you have high porosity hair, which means your hair may be damaged and you need to do my intense protein treatment as well as my moisture regimen for damaged high porosity hair, and that will be linked right here. So now that you've seen the results for high porosity hair and low porosity hair, you can now test your hair based on those results as well as follow the regimens that I've done for those different porosities of hair. I've done 3 moisture regimens on those different porosities of hair and 2 treatments. Now let's get into what treatments I did, and this is basically going to be a review of winter is coming. So the first thing I did was a super hydrating wash day routine, and that was more catered towards people with low porosity hair, but at the same time I gave some tips and tricks for people with high porosity hair. Now in that video I steamed my hair, all that stuff to make sure it got as much moisture as it could get into it, and then moved on to my low porosity moisture regimen. Now in my low porosity moisture regimen, I use products that I have known to work good for me when I had low porosity hair, as well as took it an extra step and infused those products into my hair by using heat. Indirect heat, not direct heat, indirect heat. What makes your hair cuticles open? Heat. So that's what I use. Now, you can take it a step further and use a steamer to do it, but I don't know how that would react as far as your hair getting frizzy after you've styled it. So what I did was use a hooded dryer and basically allowed my hair to not completely dry, but to dry just a little bit. Just allow the cuticles to get that heat and open up and allow some of that moisture into the cortex. And then I put it on cool blast, which would close the cuticles back up and close that moisture inside of the hair. So that's basically what I did in my low porosity moisture regimen. Now the next thing I did was a protein treatment. And in the protein treatment, I showed you some great products that you can purchase yourself to do a protein treatment on your hair if your hair is damaged or you have been using heat a lot and you want to upkeep the protein in your hair. That's basically what I showed you to do. And I also talked about another product that is not available for the public to buy, but it's available for professionals to buy. And a lot of you said you wanted me to do a review on that, so I will be doing a review on that. But basically, I told you the different types of proteins they have in products that can help your hair, as well as, you know, what to look for in the ingredients when you're looking for a protein treatment. So basically, that's what that video was. And then the next video was how to moisturize damaged hair, which is usually high porosity hair. Now, in that video, I told you to pre-poo, but not in this case, we didn't pre-poo. We pre-styled with coconut oil on our scalp and our hair so our hair wouldn't uptake too much water and too much moisture. And then we went in with our products. And in one of the products, it contained hydrolyzed protein, which will help build back up that protein that you lost due from heat or chemicals, anything like that. So that's basically what that leave-in was, and that was the Palmer's coconut milk hair smoothie. And it made my hair really soft, but it still had ingredients that would help build my hair back up to what it needed with that protein. And the cream I used in that video was the Shea Moisture Coconut Hibiscus Kids Buttercream, which contained silk protein, and I really loved that. And in all those videos, I sealed with olive oil. Now, I love olive oil for sealing and moisture, and I talked about the difference between hydration and moisture, and I'll list it down below if you want. But I used olive oil to seal in just about all the videos. Even in the last video, which was my protein sensitive video, which I used products that did not contain protein. Now let me talk about that a little bit. You do not need to be scared of protein if you're low porosity. I want to say that before I say what I'm going to say next. Now, with that being said, a lot of the times people who are protein sensitive are low porosity, and the reason being is because they don't need extra protein. Now, when you're low porosity, like I explained before, your cuticles are packed, they're tightly closed. So you don't need extra protein to try to build anything up because your hair is already tightly packed. Now, if you didn't have an adverse effect to protein, then don't worry about that. But if you have an adverse effect whenever you use products that contain protein, then odds are you're protein sensitive. So don't just jump to, oh, I'm not going to use protein just because you're low porosity. Just worry about whether the products have hydrolyzed protein in it. Like, for instance, if you're low porosity in general, I don't feel that you need hydrolyzed protein in your products unless you plan on using heat, or you know you use heat a lot, or you're experiencing damage, like your hair looks broken and stuff like that. Then just look for signs like that. But that could also be a sign of your hair just being dry and not getting the moisture it needs. So you really have to figure out what it is your hair is trying to tell you. Is it dry because you've been using too much protein, or is it dry because you don't have moisture in it? Look for signs like that. So now that you know your porosity, you can now go through the whole winter is coming playlist, which will feature the super hydrate and wash day routine, the low porosity moisture regimen, the intense protein treatment, the high porosity moisture regimen, which is for damaged hair, and the protein sensitive regimen, which is for low porosity hair that's sensitive to protein. So you can check all those videos out, as well as come back to this one so you can better understand it if you still don't understand and you're new to my channel and you just got to this video. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you back here in a few days. We'll be doing makeup, hair, all that stuff. You already know. Thanks for watching. Bye.